Hello there. Welcome to the Path to Better A1C podcast. I am Jenny Pena, National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach, Diabetes Prevention Program Lifestyle Coach, coming with strategies to balance your blood sugar, regain your energy, something that is sustainable. Because we are not advocates of extreme diets or anything like that, but we just want you to apply changes that fit your life and that help your overall health and wellness. And today I am honored to have Marcelle as my guest. And she's going to talk a little bit about what she does, but sneak peek, it has to do about your brain. So, Marcelle, welcome. Please introduce yourself.
Thanks so much for having me, Jenny. I'm Marcelle Siegel. I have a PhD in interdisciplinary neurosciences. And what I love to do is to bring the chill to people's brains using like natural, easy to do methods.
I love the fact that you use chill.
Yeah, we could all use a little extra chill, right?
It's great because a lot of my audience and even a lot of my clients, most of them are executives. And I think that they would actually need to chill their brains. They deal with a lot of stress, they deal with a lot of pressures. And then when you add the diabetes diagnosis and you add the changes that they need to make in their diet and their lifestyle, that
Mhm.
just piles up with everything else. I would love to know, how would you help someone get that chill?
Yes. Well, I that's what I do is I help people who are stressed out professionals. And then I also help people who are maybe have serious chronic illnesses or like, deep neurological things like bipolar, or I mean, just like a little ADHD or things like that who need a little extra help. So I love using nature to help people. So we can get so much, there's so many good things that come to us from nature. So our food, so thinking about how to change what we eat, getting back to more natural things and whole foods is really important for our brain in order to fuel our brain the best. And then I love getting people outside. So um, we often are, stuck at our jobs, stuck at our computer, stuck looking at screens all day. And that blue light is actually bad for us. It causes more inflammation in our brain. It causes us to feel more stressed out and tired. And when we get outside, the sunlight's really good for us. And then I use like advanced solutions. So things like red light therapy. Red light therapy is not just for your face. A lot of people think it's for your skin, but it's also amazing for your neurons. So I love to use advanced solutions like that are more technological and look at their biochemistry, look at their blood tests, genetic tests. We can do hair tissue mineral analyses and really see what nutrients they're missing. Lots of people these days are missing nutrients because we're not eating that well. And then do they have any neurotransmitter or hormonal imbalances? Helping them get more balanced in kind of an easy, simple way that's doable because I get it. We're all super busy.
Yes, absolutely. So I know that food is like the one thing that it seems to be the easiest one or the most accessible for people to modify. So, what are some foods or changes or things for people to start incorporating more that help with your brain function overall and with inflammation?
Yeah, so one of them that a lot of people don't eat enough of is healthy fats. So we're all like, "Oh, I don't wanna eat any fat. I need to lose fat, so I'm not gonna eat any fat." But actually, healthy fats are super good for you, and they're super good for your mental health. Healthy fats like omega-3s in them, so, like, eating coconut oil is really good for you. Eating olive oil, adding just a little extra olive oil to your diet if you're not having too much of that. Thinking about healthy nuts that have omega-3s, like walnuts. I love a walnut because it looks like a brain,
That
and
is
you
true.
you can eat them. It's something that's all natural, and then you're giving yourself omega-3s, which it helps with myelin production, which is like the coating of our axons. It's a fatty coating. A lot of our nerves are actually made out of fat. So we need to be eating fat to build our nerve cells and then also to reduce our stress levels and have like healthy hormonal balances and things like that. So that's one thing I tell people. And then also things like having a little apple cider vinegar before you eat your meal to get your glucose levels
That's
not
that is
spike.
actually one thing that I had to touch in a former episode, and I'm gonna
Oh,
link
yeah?
it. I had an episode about myths and
Yeah.
what was science and what was myth, and that is one thing that is actually backed with science
Yeah.
that while obviously don't rely on it alone to lower
Mhm.
your A1C
Mhm.
and then eat whatever, but it does help. It does help with that blood sugar spike if you do it before. So that is true. Yeah.
Yes. And
Awesome.
then these I'm sure, like, you talk about, like, adding lots of fiber to your diet, making sure you're having high protein. Those things are also so important for your brain health as well, and having that balanced blood sugar is super important to our brain health. We have so many brain fog and mood problems, and then even more serious problems like dementia that happen due to our blood sugar fluctuating too much and not getting the energy to our brain. Our brain is this kind of organ that's not too much of our body weight. It's usually about 2% of your body weight, but it takes up 20 to 25% of the energy in your body. So it's like an energy hog in your body. It needs a ton of energy. So it makes sense that your brain and your nervous system is just really super sensitive to your metabolism and to those that blood sugar that you have going on,
Right.
so that's kinda how it is in their brain compared to, thinking about diabetes.
Wow, amazing, amazing. How it is all connected. One thing I didn't know that the brain consumes so much energy. So
Yeah.
that is very interesting. And I love the fact that you're supporting what I typically share in this episodes. That is okay. Like prioritize protein,
Mhm.
incorporate.
Mhm.
I have something that I like to call the PFF instead of BFF. Make sure that all your meals have PFF, which is protein, fiber, and healthy fats. And every time you eat anything, ask yourself, where's the protein? Where's the fiber? Where's the fat? And if there is a component that is missing, think about how can I actually add that, incorporate that, and make the plate more balanced. Now, I know that you mentioned a lot of other components. Is there any other suggestion? And I know that you mentioned stress that may be a strategy, something that is simple that you would suggest for individuals that, again, they need that chill to their brains.
Yeah, there's so many great ways to reduce stress. So one, that people have probably heard of is breath work. I love using your breath as a way to change your stress. Like, your breath is literally tied to your nervous system. So if we inhale slower than we normally would. So maybe you're inhaling for like 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe you're gonna pause for, say, 5 seconds, and then you're gonna exhale for 7 seconds. So that's longer than your inhale. That's just a really easy thing that you can do that makes a huge change. Like, it immediately switches your nervous system, and it sends a signal to your vagus nerve, "Hey, relax. Everything's okay. We're exhaling longer than we're inhaling. Everything's gonna be okay." You do that a few times, and you'll feel much better very quickly. I love doing things too where you, like, splash cold water on your face. If you're having, like, a panic moment or you're having, like, an anxious moment, you're having too much stress and you need to get out of it quickly, that's a great one. So you can actually submerge your whole face or head in cold water, which stimulates the diving reflex in your brain and will instantly calm you down. But what's often easier, what I like to just do is just kind of get some water on my hands, it's cold, and just splash it on my face. And that will tag that same reflex and help you immediately lower your blood pressure, reduce your stress.
Very interesting. Now, one thing that you mentioned, the red light therapy, and the first thing that came to my mind was I thought that was a skincare thing.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
and that's all it was. But I would love for you to share a little bit about it. What does it do to benefit brain health? 'Cause that's very interesting.
Yeah, red light therapy is amazing, and it's something that we see all these advertisements for skin, but, like, it's been used by NASA, and it's been used in hospitals for wound care and things like that for years and years and years and years. It's one of actually the most researched for many different conditions, so it will help you lower your inflammation, and we can do that not just in our like, it'll help you with your whole body, so it's great for diabetes because Metabolic issues tend to go along with inflammation. So you can do infrared, that near infrared heat going into your body changes your cellular chemistry and reduces your inflammation. It actually reduces it's called oxidative stress in your cells. That's one really great thing about it. It's also just a relaxing practice. So I it's like one of my favorite things to do for my mental health because it's so relaxing. It's easy to do. You're just sitting in front of lights and there's nothing really hard about it. I think it's easier than making food changes because it's like I just get to sit there. Um, and then you can also add practices to it. So like you could do if you're a meditator, you can meditate while you're under the red light therapy. If you like to do Pilates or yoga or something like that, you could do that during your session, and it's actually really great for cellular recovery too. But what I teach people is how to use infrared appropriately to actually get into your nervous system. You have to have enough power, good wavelengths that will reach your nervous system, and then also make sure that you're treating like your central nervous system, which is your brain and spinal cord. So meaning like you have to treat your head. A great place to treat is your front of your head, as well as the back of your head and your neck. There's a lot of lymphatic drainage in our necks, and so that's really great for getting rid of, kind of detoxing our bodies. There's so many things that it's good for.
It seems like this is very interesting, and it's a lot more than skincare. Sadly,
It's
that's what
so
I
much
thought. I'm
more than
like, "Oh,
skincare.
it seems
Yeah,
to be
it's
something
so
for the
great.
skincare," and that I didn't think that it had that brain, benefit. But,
Yeah, if
oh,
you know how
have
to
you
use it, yeah, and I'm not talking about the
okay.
masks. So, the masks usually are made for skin, so it's, like,
Mhm,
beyond the masks.
okay.
There's panels, there's bulbs, there's saunas, all those things are really good for your nervous system.
I know a lot more people now are having ADHD, and that can impact like their productivity and all of that. Is there anything that you can share, any techniques for those that are like, and I know that I have a couple of clients that it's even something that I have to consider when we're coaching because the coaching style has to change a little bit because of their mind and how their mind works. But if there's anything that you can touch on that, and is there a connection related with blood sugar imbalance and
Mhm.
ADHD, or do you feel that they're separate? Because sometimes I feel that it seems now that I'm seeing it more. That it's like, oh, like I'm struggling with blood sugar imbalance and insulin resistance, and now they're seeing like now I got diagnosed with ADHD, so I'm seeing it more often.
Absolutely. The scientists are catching up on that and seeing so many connections. So there's connections in the biochemical pathways, and then there's connections in how we understand mental health. So I really see the future of mental health as metabolic and
Mhm.
inflammation. It's all about metabolism and it's all about inflammation. So I think it makes a lot of sense that you're seeing those connections. With ADHD, it's very inflammatory. So if you have ADHD, you likely have quite a bit of neuroinflammation. There's also likely some metabolic stuff going on as well. Some of the things that are can be helpful with that are, eating higher fat and protein diets. So, having lots of healthy fat, really keeping blood sugar lower and balanced. When we have, metabolic issues, that means that our hormones are getting involved. So, we know about insulin and insulin sensitivity, but before that happens with insulin, we've got leptin, and leptin
Mhm,
becomes not sensitive.
mhm.
And then after that, let's say you're an older woman, you may have some perimenopause happening, and then you've got some progesterone, estrogen stuff happening. And then that interacts with ADHD as well and makes it even harder to focus and harder to be stable mood. So I love using, metabolic interventions with things like ADHD, and then also inflammatory interventions. So doing things like red light therapy to reduce inflammation, doing blood tests to see what are the levels of inflammatory markers, and then doing things to get those down. So that can include extra exercise, extra movement. Often when there's ADHD, it's so great to get in extra movement because it literally will give you that, like, happy hormones and kind of make you feel
Mhm.
fulfilled so you're not, like, chasing the dopamine. And then
Yep,
it's also a great
that's
way
true.
to stabilize blood sugar, as and, like, get that metabolism in good shape. So lots of things like that, both, like, using advanced tech and checking biomarkers and things like that, and then using the solutions that work for the person. So if the person loves movement and exercise, we add more of that. If they're like, "I can barely walk right now," then we start with something like infrared and red light therapy, which is super relaxing, but will help take that inflammation away.
And I love the fact that you personalize the treatment based, okay, like if the person feels this way, so that you want to try to, the end result is there, but you do want to find something that is going to fit the life
Their
of the
life.
person. And
Yeah, I
that's
know you're
something
like
that
that
I
too.
use in my
Yeah,
coaching, right? It's like,
yeah.
okay, like you cannot just have a blanket statement or a blanket strategy. You have to really see, okay, and people have different strengths. Maybe they are active, and then there are other elements that need to be addressed, right? To like tackle that inflammation. That's amazing. Oh my God, there's so much information, but I would love for the audience to get to know a little bit about you. And one question that I have is why brain? Why deciding to get a doctorate degree and getting into this? What actually caused you to pick this and not something else? Because it's so fascinating.
Yeah, well, I got started, like, pretty young with the brain, just being fascinated by neurobiology. I studied the motor patterns of frogs starting out many, many years ago. I was like, "What is the coolest thing I could study? Oh my gosh, it's gotta be the brain because the brain does
Mhm.
everything." So I've been fascinated by the brain for years and years and years, and the way brainRISE happened. BrainRISE is my brain health company. Is I'm a professor, so I've been a professor now for over 20 years, and, um, while I love teaching, I had, like, my own health crisis and, like, going through menopause at the same time I had cancer and divorce and the pandemic and all those kinds of things were all, like, right at the same time, and so that brought me back into thinking about how do I solve my own health problems, and then how can I help other people and who do I wanna help? And as I was thinking about that, it was all, "Oh, I'm going all the way back to brain science and my neuro degree," just because I find it so fascinating, and it's just such an exciting time to be in neuroscience because of all the new really perspectives on how we view the brain, how we view the nervous system, and how much better we understand what's going on with people, and how to help them. So I
Mhm.
just love, love, love it. I love working with clients and helping them in ways that they thought, like, they could not feel better, and then they feel better. It's just so much fun.
Nothing is so satisfying when you see like your clients like, I didn't think that I was gonna be in this place. Like it sometimes they have these struggles and goals and they feel that they're so far away. And then like when they finally get there, wow, I cannot believe it. Like, okay, like I'm there. And that's amazing. Now, I have a few random questions, just random questions. Favorite book?
What I wanted to say is Awakenings. Awakenings is by
Okay.
Oliver Sacks, the neurologist who's kind of also like a poet. He's a fantastic writer and has so many cool, interesting things to say.
Oh, favorite drink for the morning?
I'm gonna say mushroom coffee.
What is your favorite snack when you're hitting that 3 PM slump and you're like, "I need something?"
I'm a big nuts person, so I'm gonna go for some soaked almonds or some almonds baked with some rosemary or some I love spiced nuts right around this time of year, something like that.
And what is your favorite song when you're feeling a little down, when you feel like, "Okay, I need to kinda, like, get my mood up?"
Music is, like, such a great way to get your mood up. There's so many. I'll just say one that I used to, like, run around with my kids singing is YMCA by the Village People.
It does gives that sense of nostalgia and the baseball and all that. Any last simple strategies that you wanna suggest? Maybe for individuals that are feeling, okay, like, I'm feeling the brain fog, I'm feeling fatigued, I know that something is happening. What would you suggest? If there's one actionable step that you can say, "If nothing else, do this," what would that be?
One huge one for brain health is sleep. So, sleep will really help you with your metabolism, it'll help you with your stress, and it helps clear the waste from your brain. So, when we're sleeping, the waste is cleared from our brain, the metabolic waste. And that's also something that can help us not get dementia is if we're
Mhm,
sleeping really well. Dementia is known as the 3rd type of diabetes
mhm,
now.
mhm,
Right?
type
So
3, yeah.
that's also connected. So I would just say we haven't really talked about sleep, but sleep is so important. Make sure you're getting great sleep and using anything like environmental that you can. If you need
Mhm,
to
mhm,
close your blinds, or I have like tape on my window because my blind doesn't totally cover my,
mhm.
there's a little bit of light that gets through. Whatever you need to do to get sleep, that's good, is a really important strategy for you, for your metabolism, for your stress,
Mhm,
for your
mhm.
overall brain health. So that would be a big
And
one.
even if you have a couple of nights of not so good sleep, that actually
Mhm.
increases your blood sugar levels. Even if you're eating well
Yeah.
and you're doing everything well. Now, to conclude, I would love for you to share where they can find you. I will put all the information in the show notes, so you will be able to get all the information there. But if anybody wants to get in contact with you and curious about what you do, get a consultation, please share so they know where to find you.
Yeah, I'd love to connect on Instagram and on LinkedIn. And then I have a website called brainrisego.com. And I'd love to offer your audience a free resource to help add more chill and serenity to their day. It's called the Serenity Scheduler, and it has some brain health tips from sunrise to sunset.
That's amazing. You know that I'm going to be using the chill term for a while now. Like, I think that is, like, the coolest thing. Your brains and chill. Like, I am
Yeah.
just gonna use it. That's gonna be a phrase for a few weeks. Thank you so much, Marcel. You have given us so much information. Thank you so much for your time, for everything that you shared, and to share a little bit. I know that there's probably more that you can share, and you mentioned so many elements that impact our brains, but I love this conversation, and I know that everybody probably got a lot of it in, and, all the information for Marcel is going to be on the show notes, so make sure you check it out, go follow, get that free resource, and as always, every week with a new episode, bringing simple strategies, nuggets, so that you can balance your blood sugar and improve your overall health. Have an amazing rest of your week. Bye.